We're in Act 3, the filmmaking AI software, and this is in cartoon mode right now. It has realistic mode, but we'll be giving a tour of the product specifically in cartoon mode. So here you can go type in as fast as you want. He said this, she said that, and it creates it at incredible speed. It's doing that with the cartoon mode in this case. The whole project has been shifted into that. With this, we will go show a number of features here as far as character control. So it's easy to go make 2 hour movies, a half-hour TV show quickly, and do that with these kind of tools. Everything else tends to take these 8-second prompts. That to get the level of control that's going on in here would take 8 hours per 3 second shot. This takes care of all of that behavior. And so we'll go give a tour of the workflow features. You can separately control the characters, outfits, aliens and creatures and items, relics and magical things, and then separately from the editor and the shot per view. And then you can import a script or just type that in, and then it comes along and creates all the shots, and it's then pulling in for character consistency the characters, their voices that you picked and dialed in the voices, the aliens and the different items, the outfits, and you get that consistency across the different shots. Well, we will go and now show the workflow for the areas outside of the editor, and then we'll come back to the editor. Here you can come in to control the actors and go pick your different actors for the different parts of your story. In this situation, you can go through, and there's characters, and then there's digital actors. So the digital actors, there's a very large directory. You can go create more very, very, very easily, and then you can go cast them into this episode or that episode, this movie, that movie, or so on, and reuse them when you want to, change them when you want to. With this process right here, you can then come in, and if a digital actor in your story, if they start off at 5'10" and you want to make them 6'2", you can come in and make those changes. You can then come in and control outfits. Outfits is a whole other aspect of this. So you kind of scroll down here and then map out which outfit you want to go pick for that character. So in a movie, you might have them in one outfit for the first third, then a different outfit for the next third of the movie, then another outfit for another third. When they go to the beach, you might switch them into a bathing suit. When they go to a formal dinner, you might put them into a tux or an evening dress or whatever is appropriate. So it's easy to go take your characters, map in the digital actor that's correct, and then map in the outfit changes along the way. So you have the full control over this, control of which voice they have. So you can go take that character and go put them into a British show and have the right British accent, and you can kind of cast people with diversity and cast the right people and get that diverse range, international accents, get the voice right, and get the outfits correct for the right. If you're going to make a movie for 1971 and you want to make that in Mexico or Peru, then you can go get the outfits to be correct, the costume design. Then when we come over here, this right here is the 3D set side. So over here, what we do is if you import a script or just type in a couple of quick lines, walking along the harbor next to stores, it'll come along and the AI will take and go extrapolate out the sets. And this is a whole separate section than the other parts. And then it can sit there and reuse the sets. So in this case, you might for example, there might be a show in Florida with a police station that's a long-running TV series, and there's a whole bunch of them working in the police station, the forensic side with the lab, and they keep going into different rooms over and over. The police chief, the meeting room, the lab work room, the detective's open office space. And so with this, you can quickly describe them and it'll map out all the rooms. It'll map out all the different places for the camera to go, and whether it's indoor sets or outdoor sets. And then with this, if you come along and you want to make a change and say, let's go make that police station 1996 style. Let's make it a Miami police station. Let's make that Miami police station near the waterfront. And let's go change the interior design to be, more neon Miami colors and visual styles. So you come in and put that once, and you might use that set in 60 different shots in your show. And when they walk in back and forth between the rooms, you'll come back and have consistency in the sets. And then you can go sit there and go switch from shot to shot, and you end up having that consistent set. It'll have that consistent interior design. If they're doing a chase scene through the police station or whatever building, then you end up having that consistency there. And then you can go place different spots in there, different rooms, different places of the rooms, and then in your movie, it'll come along and it'll go pick the right spots that's the best match for that. So if they're following the police chief get really mad and he storms out of his office into the main room, the action line in the script might say something short like that. Police chief storms out of his office into there. This does AI does 3D planning of the blueprint of the building, and then when it puts the spots, it'll pick where's the camera to go follow the police station out of the police chief out of his office, and how's it going to go frame the people it's going to go view, see his reaction as he storms out. So it'll come along and do the cinematography in 3 dimensions and flow through from room to room. And in this case, our AI up at the Act 3 level is then creating all these prompts down from shot to shot in the Google VO3. So VO3 has these incredibly detailed prompts that we create that would have taken an incredible number of hours per 8-second shot for you to do the same. We're getting consistency across all the shots running around the same police station. We're figuring out the cinematography and the camera flow. We are kind of figuring out the so when you make a quick line there, police chief gets mad, storms out of his office, and confronts these 3 characters. It'll come along and do all the planning from there on out. And then with Google VO3, it's saying, scene left and scene right. And, with all those things, it'll come along and do the planning into the low-level Google VO3 prompt. But at the high level, you end up saying, then so-and-so gets mad and storms north in the room and goes out the such-and-such door. And you can kind of talk about the room at a high-level, consistent level. They'll be reused across shots, and then the AI really figures everything down and then feeds it to very low-level terms that the Google VO3 needs. So that's how that works with easy set reuse. And then that same set gets consistency across different shots. When you come over to here, and we'll come back to, you can have different projects. If you're working on TV with different episodes, you can go work on that. And then you can come over here to the AI center. Here's the plot depth, down to key beats, down to a whole bunch, down to character casting. So over here, you're opening up a show, and you have a wide range of lead characters down to supporting characters and kind of pretty rare characters there. And you can go browse through here. Over here's at the story level. So you can go kind of change them at the story level and go specify that to the AI. And when you go give a however much small input you give, maybe 4 paragraphs for a 30-minute show you want to have created, it'll go map out the characters when you don't provide that. It'll create their names and their backgrounds and personalities and make them complement each other and make them have a character arc in addition to your story arc. So whatever you don't specify, the AI will come along and go map those out. And so let's go pick one of these characters over here. And here's this Adrian character. Now, this over here is a story level with AI. And then when you switch over to the visuals, it then comes over here between the character information, and then you can even go into the digital actor level, and then you can sit there and say, let's make him, he's age 40, let's make him age 36. Let's go change his accents. We can go switch to digital actor if we want to, and then go change his outfit. So this is the workflow of professional movie making and TV making. And then it's also very, very easy to go create. Here's a multi-hour movie, and this one's in cartoon mode. Most of ours are not done with the cartoon mode, but in this case, it ends up being the cartoon mode. So we'll come back over here to some of these, and we'll give some details here. Let's do a good ferry one. So they're kind of driving in with the ferry. And over here in that shot, 86. So here we specify the set, and this is industry standard screenwriting. So you sit there and can call out the set, and then it'll carry forward. In this case, here's the ferry dock, and here's giving basically one line, two rows of text describing the visuals, and then it'll carry that out. And over here is Marina del Rey, exterior shot with sunsets, and it's getting that sunset lighting, and then it'll come along with the different shots here down with dialogue. Now, when it has those characters right here, it'll then pull from those digital actors. You changed him from 5'6" to 6'2". You changed his outfit to be just right, and then it'll bring consistency here. So the whole point here is you can type, we're making the labor the least, as you can type, he said this, she said that, and you can go at the incredible velocity of as fast as you can type, he said this, she said that, and then you might put a little bit of description. Then the incredible AI depth will go build those extensive sets indoors and outdoors, and then go do that. And then we will go do that, and let's come back. You can then navigate across the 2 hours very, very quickly, just like you can in Adobe Premiere, scanning out on the timeline. Then let's go up here, and we'll go across the key beats. Over here is this kind of Zoom meeting with a podcaster, and these different ones here will come over. And when you have sets in other places that are beautiful, it's an incredible delight. Let's go over here in Venice. So the locations here are absolutely beautiful for Venice. And there's times when, so over here on shot 135, let's come here to a shot 135. And then you'll see that was a famous arc back there. So over here on 135, this is not only, we're saying, the scene up there says it's Venice, Italy. So it's going into Italy, going into one island called Venice. And then now we're saying that we're in a certain spot that's very, very famous there. And that building right there is very, very famous. This tower here is very, very famous. And so over here, you can say, now controlling it on where the characters are, I just want them 150 feet away. And by typing 4 words, I have set control. And by me typing in 3 words, the name of the building, I'm now across the planet, exactly within a few feet of exactly the building and space I want on the planet. And I'm getting famous buildings. And then over here, this tower right here is over there. And then there's a little bit of this ends up being describing the camera is from behind. So it's controlling camera location, initial location, camera movement, tracking. It has a whole bunch of cinematography. So the writer, screenwriter, or director can go put in minuscule amounts of wording, capturing the core of their visual goal, and then the AI system will create incredible amount of detail, and then take control of Google VO3 as it builds very, very low level prompt, incredible amount of controlling detail to take Google's VO3 or these other models, Sora 2 and others, and it will go off and make them generate that result. People where you want them, facing the way you want them moving, cameras moving, controlling the planet, controlling the visuals, and as fast as you can type in 2 sentences on the visuals, 2 sentences on what they're saying, you can sit there and make in TV and movie and social media videos an incredible velocity. I'll tour some of the sets here. With this, we were working on filming some things in LA, so we wanted to have certain rooftop views of LA, and so we had a couple of lines and control that set and location in there. Just type them in the script, and then all the AI does all the work. Here's over a trip to Tokyo, and then they take a train over to a smaller town called Mito. With this, again, you can kind of describe what we wanted. Them, leaving the big city and arriving in the small city here, and then this is controlling for Mito. Over here is interesting in landing over in Venice. The airport's right next to the water. They have a water taxi to get to the island, since most people do that. We want to control that of how they're leaving the airport. And you can see an airplane. You can see them get on the water taxi. So this is the thing of when you have that vision in your mind, then you can type that in. The part that's not so obvious here is you can say, when you're kind of saying, I'm making a boat trip, and you don't want to get too much of the boat, you want to kind of see where it's going, you can explain that in 4 or 5 words, and it captures it. And then you can kind of capture the gondolas, and in this case, we want to capture different parts of Venice, as if somebody's there and they're making their trip to go over to meet somebody. And with this part, you can go explore the story world. We're back here in California. We're going to go through a lot of stuff with Zoom meetings with other people, and then hash things out here. And it's all about very much characters interacting, and that's the part where other things often fall apart in other software and AI filmmaking. Being able to just quickly have discussions and actions and controlling. You want items like laptops on, and whose laptop is going to have it there. And so it'll have that kind of control and get those kind of things there in the movie. Then over here's a car scene. So whenever you're going to go, we have cinematography patterns we're pulling in. So when they're having a discussion in the car or wherever it's going to be, here they're over to kind of a Santa Monica-ish type of area, and they have kind of a view there. We're going to end up having the TV news come on, and we have powerful features that are launching within days. Those powerful features will start to have the news be on the TV. So you can have a separate project in our thing to go see what the reporter is talking about some other place, and then have that appear on the TV screen. So we have a lot of very, very powerful things that you need to make movies. Characters are often looking at their cell phone and see a message come in. They might look at their iPad and see something. They might look at their laptop and see something going on. They might see a TV on the wall and see a news program come on. And so being able to control that is often beyond Google VO3. We go off and handle that separately, and then you can sit there and have that full control as a filmmaker. So this is Act 3. It's here to be full filmmaking. We are living and breathing, making our own movie, in order that as AI software people, we're writing full movie scripts and going through the whole production process. This is how we live and breathe, so that way, whether it's big studios all the way down to indie, 1 or 2 people can make an entire 2-hour movie and an incredibly short amount of labor. And by doing that, we're empowering people to create new jobs with AI. And with this, the big part is set control. Down here is down to the news program comes on, and you'll see us film other shot. This shot right here is going to be what appears on the TV elsewhere. So you can have other shots that are controlling what's going to be on TV, and you can have them control all the dialogue exactly. And then this ends up being pulled in to the TV when there's a room of people looking up at the TV and seeing what's going on. So on this one, you might control an alien spaceship lands, and a tractor beam pulls up the president, and then the people in the room are in a bar going, "Oh my gosh, maybe that's a bad thing," and so you can sit there and have that level of control and be able to have that kind of aspect. The software is Act 3 AI, and it does 4K filmmaking AI, and then it has 11 labs and very, very powerful voice consistency, has voice acting, and everything you'll need. Act3AI.com, and we're on X, and we're on YouTube.